Hi everyone, I'm Bridget from Pickfair, and today I'm going to show you a art project that you can do at home. This specific project is a tessellation project. Some of you might have heard of tessellations before. If you haven't, that's totally okay because you're going to find out what they are today. So all a tessellation is, it's a pattern of a shape that's repeated over and over and over without any spaces or gaps in between. If you're taking geometry, you've probably heard of tessellations already. When I took geometry in high school, the thing that helped me remember what tessellations are is that tessellation slide. Tessellation slide. They kind of sound the same, right? So all that means is that you have one shape, for example, on your piece of paper, and you just slide that over and over and over, and it just repeats the pattern. If you want to look up what tessellations are on Google Images, I definitely encourage you to do that. There are some really cool art pieces out there. MC Escher is a famous artist that incorporated tessellations into his paintings and drawings. They're really, really cool. I definitely encourage you guys to look them up. You'll like them. All right, with all that said, let's get started. Let's make some tessellations. Okay, so for this tessellation project, some materials that you'll need are a pair of scissors, a pen or a pencil. I'm using an erasable pen, but you want something that you can erase in case you mess up. Definitely a ruler, some tape, a piece of paper. You can use any color you'd like, but I would use white or like lighter colors so what you're drawing shows up on it better. And a notebook or a note card. If you don't have a note card, you could always just use a piece of cardstock or even a paper plate. You want something that's kind of strong, that won't bend or tear easily, because this is what we're going to use as our template. We're going to turn this into a template and trace it later. So, and also you would probably want some markers or color pencils or crayons, whatever you've got at home is good for you. So now that we have all of our materials, what we're going to do is we're going to make our template. I have a note card, so that's what I'm going to use. And if you have note cards at home, you could use this. So I'm going to show you how to turn this into a template. And then if you don't have note cards, I'm also going to show you how to use like a paper plate too, because that'll work just as well. So what you want to do is you want to take your ruler. We're going to measure the shorter side of our note card. See how long that is? It's 3 inches. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the longer side, line it up, and then we're going to, mark our 3 inches spot, which is right here. And then if you want, you can even draw a line going down there, because we're going to cut it, and that'll make it easier to cut. And the reason why we want to turn this into a square, because if we use a rectangle, our pattern won't be a perfect tessellation. It's not going to perfectly fit in with each shape that we draw on our piece of paper, and you'll see why later. So then we're just going to cut along this line, and we'll use this later. All right, if you don't have a note card or cardstock at home, that's okay, because we can do the exact same thing we just did with our note card. I think I'll flip it over so it's easier to trace and measure. But then we're going to take our ruler like we did before, and we're just going to use 3 inches like how we did for our note card earlier. So we're going to take our pen. We're going to start from the beginning of our ruler, draw a line, and stop right at 3 inches, right here. And then we're going to go to this point where we ended and do it again. If you get a little close to the edge, that's okay. Looks like we're barely going to make it. If you're using paper plate, you might want to start draw your square more in the center. I went a little over the 3, but that's okay because I'm just drawing a little tick here. And our last line, right here. Okay, so now once you draw your square, All you have to do is just cut it out, and then you can move on to the next step with this.